otherwise. Is that all right?
Yeah, go for it.
Cool.
Can you just see the main page now?
Yeah, I can just see it. I can see a few participants at the top, and I can see your PowerPoint as well.
Yeah, that's fine. What I'll do is share, and then I'll come out of that eventually and load up the browser so we can run through it.
Perfect. Evening. How many of these so far have you done then, Daniel? I know you've done Kent, but have you done any others?
No, Kent was the only one. To be fair, we'd plan to run one in Oxford. In Oxfordshire.
Was that face to face or online?
No, online. And it's kind of been halted, and same in London. So, but I mean, they've been well received. You know, the Kent one has been well received, and on the back of it, there's been a lot of submissions.
Oh, that's wicked. Very good. Evening, Lawrence.
Do you not need to be?
Oh no.
Evening, Albert.
Evening.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. You?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Good, thank you.
I'm from Hazelmere Town Youth, if that makes any difference. I didn't put that on there, but
Perfect. No problem. Good stuff. How's the start of the season going for you, or midway through the season? How's it going?
Not too bad, I don't think. Sort of, teams are doing okay, but they all seem to be enjoying it, which is the main thing.
That's good.
I haven't had any disciplines yet, so
can't have been going too badly then.
Yeah.
Evening all. So we'll just wait for a few more people to join, and then we'll get started. I don't want to take too much of your evenings. Give it 1 minute, and then we'll get cracking. Started. I think a few people have had problems with the signing up page today. Has anyone else encountered any of that, or was that just?
So what, logging in?
Yeah, they were saying they were having troubles with their fan numbers or something. So
no, that's fine.
I reckon we'll have a few people join midway through, but it shouldn't be a problem. All right, Daniel, we're good to get started. I don't want to take any more any more time with these good people's evenings.
Yep, absolutely. Ready when you are.
I'll just share my screen quickly. Give me a minute. I'm not the best at technology, but we'll run with it. Cool. Can everyone see my screen firstly? Well, Daniel, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Let me just admit these people. Perfect. So firstly, thanks everyone for coming today. I know evenings at the moment are very precious, and hopefully not going to take too much of your time, but hopefully this will give you some good insight as to how to improve your grass pitch, and then a little bit more information around pitch power as well on the relaunch. Just a little bit of housekeeping to get us started. So please mute mics when you're not speaking. Turn off cameras when not speaking. Don't forget we're recording. So after this, I'm going to try and get it uploaded to YouTube. I'll circulate it to the people that weren't able to attend today's meeting to ensure that everybody has this information. And then in terms of questions, use the chat. No questions are silly question. So I'll be keeping tabs on the chat. So any questions in there, I'll just put my hand up and I'll ask Daniel them, and hopefully he can provide you with a good answer. Just a little bit of the agenda as well. So we're going to start off with pitch power, how to access it and set up your pitch ready for an inspection. Then Daniel's hopefully going to give us a live demo inspection, and then an insight into the pitch grading framework. Oh, And then a little bit on the Football Foundation funding, so grass pitch maintenance funding, Hive groundskeeping community, a little bit of time for Q&A, and then I'm going to give you a bit of information around support pitch advisors. So Daniel, obviously he's from the GMAs, he's our regional pitch advisor. Over to you.
Perfect. Thank you for the introduction, Ben.
No
Let
problem.
me just jump on and share my screen. Just change to presenter view. That's perfect. Thank you, Ben, for the introduction. And as you kind of reiterated, those people that are coming in, if you can just turn your cameras off and also mute your microphones, just so we don't get any background feedback for the recording. And you know, you don't need to be on the video if yeah, it's just not necessary. Right. So yeah, again, extend my welcome from Ben and thank all of you for jumping on this evening. I can't see the chat, but please do. I mean, there's not a huge amount of us in tonight, so this is a really kind of laid back, informal discussion. And the aim of it is to help you to improve your grass pitches at your club. So anything you want to get out of this tonight, this evening is for you. I've got a presentation to run through, and then we will jump on to the live version of Pitch Power, and I'll give you a bit of a demo. So hopefully you come away with it, and not that you're daunted now, but you'll be less daunted when you've had a quick look through. But yeah, again, thank you for everybody that's on the call. This is hopefully, maybe for a lot of you, the kind of first step in improving your grass pitches at the club. Some of you might be more experienced and already have pitch power assessments carried out. But yeah, we're going to run through kind of initially what is pitch power and why it came around. So the first question, introduction and a bit of a background onto pitch power. I joined the program, which was then the Grounds and Natural Turf Improvement Program 3.5 years ago. And it was a case of I'd travel around to each and every club, assess the pitches, and then I'd go away, write up a report, and it'd take, you know, it was a long process. There was a lot of traveling involved. And it was it kind of like a real manual process. It was a successful program, and on the back of it, the Football Foundation saw this, and they rolled out what was originally called the Digital Assessment Tool, which got rebranded into Pitch Power, and now the emphasis is on the club to submit your pitch power, your inspections straight to us. It essentially, there wasn't enough resource or people available to go out and visit every club. So this is kind of streamlined the process, and as the title says, it kind of puts the power back into your hands to use this app as a resource to improve your pitches. So Pitch Power, powered by the Football Foundation, is a free and easy to use web app that has been a game changer in our mission to transform the country's grass pitches. Since launch in October 2020, around 3,500 reports have been produced, providing guidance and advice on 8,500 plus submitted football pitch inspections. So every pitch that you submit through the app will get a bespoke report detailing recommendations and guidance on how to improve it. Pitch Power puts the power into the palm of your hand to seek guidance on improving the quality and performance of your grass pitches. Yeah, and then as I just touched on, every pitch inspection will receive a detailed report produced by one of the Grounds Management Association's regional pitch advisors. So The purpose of this program is to get more people playing sport, to improve your pitches and have less cancellations. Better pitches means more opportunities for people to play and get active, which is hugely important to the nation's health, physical and mental well-being. I mean, that goes without saying. And as well as this, we'll touch on it later on that there are funding streams available to support you carrying out some of these works on your pitches. So we initially began the program with 8 regional pitch advisors up and down the country, visiting pitches, going back home, creating Word reports on Word documents, and sending it out to the club. And it was a real kind of laboured process. Pitch Power's transformed that. You can go out to your pitches tomorrow if you want, submit the inspection rather than chasing Ben at the CFA arranging for me to go out. It's on yourselves to kind of get out there with your phone and the equipment that you need to carry out the inspection. Once you submit, we'll have a report turned around back to you within the maximum of 21 days. In most cases, it's a lot sooner than that. And on the back of it, if you do need follow-up guidance and any further support, it's continue to get in contact with either Ben or myself, and we can support you. So what's new? As I touched on, Pitch Power was launched in October 2020. It got taken down earlier this year and kind of just got rebooted. This is due to the Football Foundation changing their strategy, and 40% of the investment they have now will go to projects that host additional sports. So to align with this, the Football Foundation, they relaunched the web app, and now it's, if you've got rugby pitches as well, so rugby union or rugby league, as well as cricket, they've partnered with those national governing bodies of sport to allow Pitch Power to be used on those pitches as well. The user journey has been improved and enhanced based on the feedback from the original version. So it's completely been rehashed. The kind of good bits have been kept, and additional bits have been added as well to kind of build up a better, information package for us to complete the report. And when we do kind of receive the submissions and inspections from yourselves, I always just say that the more information that you can provide, the better level of report you're going to get. If I see it sometimes where people just whiz through it to just try and get it done, but the more detailed information that you can provide your regional pitch advisor, which if you're in Surrey, it will be me completing the report, the more bespoke and kind of customized, tailored to your pitches the report is going to be, just to give us a better understanding of the difficulties that you might have at your site, or any nuances with the pitches. I'm just going to play you a quick YouTube video. It's only a few seconds long, but as I said at the start, if you have got any questions, do continue to pop them into the chat and Ben can pick them up. I'd say at this stage, maybe just hold off a little bit because we will run through and hopefully answer the questions when we get to the live demo. But I'll just play this video now, and just a little interactive of what the dashboard looks like on your phone. But we'll dive into this live later on in the session. And yeah, from there you can access funding, like I said, through completion of your report. Right, so next slide. Okay, so signing up and logging back on. if I'll go through the bullet points first, and then we'll touch on some of the information. The app is a web-based model. You won't find it in the App Store, so it won't be on the iPhone App Store. It won't be on the Android store. You simply go to pitchpower.org.uk in your browser, and you will be able to access Pitch Power. That's where it's hosted. From there, you can download an icon to your phone. Kind of, it basically it acts like it's an app, but when you download the icon, it will launch your web browser into pitchpower.org.uk. So it's a web-based app. So don't go on your phone trying to kind of find it in the Apple App Store or the Android one, because it's not there. You simply go to your browser and you type that in. So those that have engaged with it previously and signed up, you may be prompted to change your password to re-access the platform. That's just because of the terms in terms of passwords expiring, and you needing to sign up. So do continue to use if you've made an account, do continue to log in and use that stuff, because the past data that you've submitted will be carried over, and it will be, reasonably familiar. If you're a first-time user, you just sign up as you would on any other website using your email, and then you choose a password. You find your organization using the search feature. If your organization isn't listed, you'll be prompted to add it manually. So if you are looking to complete your first initial Pitch Power inspection, I would say do some of the legwork, such as signing up, choosing your organization, setting up your pitches, setting up your site. Try and do that at home. You don't have to use your phone to do that. You can access it on a laptop, similar to how we're going to be doing in a short few minutes time. And then once you've kind of set everything out that you need to, you can use your phone, and it's worth testing it and making sure you can log on your phone as well, and then going to site and carrying out your pitch inspection when you're next there. So multiple people within your organization can have individual accounts associated with your organization. So if you are, for example, a volunteer and you maintain the ground, or you carry out some work on the pitches, but you don't have an awareness of how many fixtures are played, or associated costs or budgets, say that you've got a treasurer at the club, they can have an account too. They will just need to log in and create an account with their own email address and their own password, and then you both can be linked to one organization. And I'll make that clear when we delve into the live session. So straightforward. First of all, sign up or re-log back in, and then find your organization. If you have previously had an account and you're logging back in, your organization will still be associated to your account. So setting up your pitches, once you've found or added your organization, you'll be prompted to join a ground and add pitch locations. If you previously had an account, this information will have been transferred, but it's worth checking to see if pitches are still configured correctly. And as I touched on before, multiple people can have access to this and be associated with an organization. So setting up your pitches, continue through the instructions, and it's pretty straightforward. Once you've found your organization, then you search your ground. It's worth mentioning that you only have to do this once, and if you do get stuck in doing it, we can do that for you. But please do try and set it up yourself, because it's a good learning curve to kind of be comfortable in using the platform. So continue through the instructions and you will be prompted through to add your grass pitches to the ground. You don't need to add any artificial pitches or training pitches and areas. This is just for affiliate pitches that are used for affiliated football. Similarly, overlaid pitches do not need to be added to the map or inspected, just indicate in the setup that this pitch contains pitches within it, i.e. if you've got an 11 and you're running, you know, 2 7s widthways across it, you don't need to add the 7s, you just need to indicate when you're setting up your pitch that you do have overmarked pitches within this. And again, we'll run through this in a couple of minutes time of just so kind of visualize doing that. So beginning your inspection journey, as I said before, information is key, and the more that you can add, the better that I've got an idea of what's actually going on on your site and the purpose of your inspection. You may be looking to get advice around kind of equipment, maybe looking for advice around, you know, just improving your grass pitches. Just provide as much information as you can, kind of, and that kind of links into the top point there. It's important to spend time completing the general ground information section. You might want to do this before heading out to your pitch, so that the app's broken down into sections, and there's quite a lot that you can actually do at home before you go to your pitch, or when you get home following the inspection. So, you know, the weather's not great at the moment, so just do have a look in rather than being stuck out on the pitch and kind of trying to find out, oh, how much do we spend on this, how much do we spend on that. And if you don't have the answers to that question, you know, you've got opportunity to contact the person in the club that does. So you'll be prompted through the journey. It's really simple to follow the journey. You can see on the image there that the whistle indicates something needs to be done, and I think it changes to a green football or a green goal. I will find out in a minute when those sections are completed. And then the green button at the bottom, that's what you just keep looking for. If you've got a green button, it will just prompt you to go to the next. So yeah, you'll be prompted through the journey. Initially from the first section is general ground information. So the things that you will need to have handy are a comprehensive list of equipment owned or used on your pitches by any contractors that you engage with. Your annual budget for maintenance and renovation, just so we've got an idea of what resource that you've got available currently. The list of standard maintenance activities that you carry out, any info on training courses that you've completed, and your pitch usage levels or cancellation numbers. And then again, as much information as possible. This will help us get a really good idea of how your organisation and site operates, and this will really help to ensure that your report is accurate and as achievable as possible, you know, to get your pitches improved. As I stressed before at the beginning, use this as a tool. This is something that's free to use and should be regarded as a resource to aid you in improving your pitches and kind of mark out your journey along as you go. So you can look back in subsequent years and think, okay, when we started, we were cutting at this level, this height of cut, this frequency, we were doing this, we had this amount of machinery. It's just beneficial to understand, and each pitch will be graded as well, and based on that grading we can then provide guidance. But yeah, we'll move on to the live demo now. So just before I switch to the browser and get going, just wondered if anybody's got any questions. Nothing in the chat, I don't think. Absolutely fine. So now I will share the browser. Go from there. Yeah, okay, that's gone. So once you're logged in on your phone, it'll look a little bit like this. On the browser, it'll you'll have a dashboard on the left-hand side. It'll look slightly different to mine because you won't have submitted inspections and other clubs inspections coming through to you. But essentially, this is what it's going to look like. So once you're logged in, and if you do have any issues logging in, please do get in contact with Ben or myself, and we can point you in the right direction. So it's as easy as searching for an organisation. So, you know, whichever club you are, we can say, you know, Surrey Athletic, Surrey Lions. You know, any 9 times out of 10, your club will be, you'll be in here. So, you know, it's just a case of searching and finding it and clicking it. If you can't find your club, then you can add your organisation. So you select the name, kind of, in most cases it would be affiliated football clubs, and then you go around that, and yeah, then you'll be associated with your club, and then once you do that, it will save within the listings. So anybody else that needs to join your organisation will be able to log in and find it. So I'll just move quickly on to what you will then see is you'll have a list of your organisations. For this one, I'm just going to demo it and show you as the GMA, the Grounds Management Association, just on the demo account here. And you can see that we've got one football ground associated with. So when you come to log in, complete your and move along with your inspection, find your organisations. If you've already done it, it will be retained within here, and then you select organisation, and this takes you to your dashboard page, essentially. So it will look a little bit like this on a phone. And if you do it, and I do recommend doing it first time on a browser, then on your laptop, sorry, or iPad, or whatever computer that you've got. So from here you can look for grounds. I've already added one for this instance, but it's a case of you search and your ground will come up. Maybe that wasn't the best example to use. Yeah, but we've already got one listed in this case, which is as an example. I've used our head office, and there's a patch of land out the back that, as an example, we're going to pretend we're going to put some football pitches on. So what we can do is, we're in our organisation, we're in our ground, which has been named Football Pitch 1. Whatever your ground is called, then you can title it, or it will already be saved into it. And so we'll go into sport, football inspection due. So you'll be prompted to do this. Okay. It will then hit you with a green button to begin your inspection. You can go through that. Begin inspection. And are your pitches up to date? I'm going to say we're going to manage pitches, because let's have a play around just as an example, and reorientate one. So we've got a adult 11 pitch here used as an example. Is this pitch, so we'll say pitch change the name. Adult 11 B11. Is this pitch overmarked with other pitches? I'm going to say no. Is this pitch floodlit? No. Is it shared with any other sports? No. It is an adult football pitch, and it is not used within the National League step system. This is a really important thing to mention here, in that please only tick this box if you know your pitch is used for fixtures within the National League system, because the funding is slightly different, and you would come under the Premier League Stadia Fund if you are using Pitch Power to seek out funding. I don't think there's going to be many people on this call, if any, that are that have pitches that are used within the National League system, but it's worth mentioning that just take extra care when you answer this question. It can be changed retrospectively, but often I've had it where clubs tick it accidentally, and we need to kind of backtrack and edit the pitch so that funding can be applied for it. So no, that pitch is fine where it is, and we will go back to my pitches. Just want to show you that it is reasonably easy to add another pitch. So we can, this is a junior pitch. We're going to pretend. Is it marked with other pitches? No. Is it floodlit? No. Is it used for any other sports? No. And we'll say it's a 9v9, and we want to adjust the location so that we can fit another pitch in next to it. So what we can to there. I'm just kind of like pretending that the season has changed. The clubs expanded, just to show you that kind of this is some of the stuff that you can use Pitch Power for if you change pitches around on your site. Back to my pitches, and I'm going to add another pitch next to the 9v9. So we say new 9v9. Is it overmarked with any other pitches? No. Is it floodlit? No. Is it shared with any other? If it is, you can say whichever sport it's listed, it's shared with. Is it floodlit? And is it overmarked? And we'll add another 9v9. We have provided some feedback that in a next update, because Pitch Power, based on the feedback that we've been providing and based on the feedback that we've received from the users already, there's just little things that it would be helpful if we saw the existing location of pitches when we're adding stuff, when we're adding new pitches. So this is feedback that's been taken on board and gone back to the developers who are gonna do that. So if we go to continue to pitches, now we can see that we have added another pitch. So if we go back to sport, again, you'll only have to do it once. It's very likely that you're not going to change your pitches season on season. So you just need to map these out once, but it is worth checking each time that you submit your inspection if it's in the right place. 9 times out of 10, you're going to go to begin inspection, manage pitches, just to check. Yep, the pitches are there. They were in the same position as they were in previous years. Can move on to the inspection. So begin. Are your pitches up to date? Yeah, they are, because we've just checked. So we're ready to go. What type of inspection would you like to do? As I said, this is now Pitch Power has become a multi-sport app. We've indicated that it is football pitches that we've marked. So we are doing a football inspection. Generally here, it's really helpful if you indicate you do have an interest in a football foundation grant. If it's your first time using it and that's why you're using Pitch Power. If you just want general pitch maintenance advice, you can select that as well. That will be provided regardless of whatever you click, we're going to give you pitch maintenance advice. It's also really helpful to know if you are already accessing funding through the foundation, to indicate it by clicking existing Football Foundation grant. Not sure if the drop down works actually if you're sharing screen, but yeah, in most cases, if this is the beginning of your pitch improvement journey, then you're going to be interested in a Football Foundation grant and what can be offered. So we'll select that one on this occasion and hit continue. So what do I need to complete my inspection? This is the stuff that you will be taking out to your pitch, essentially your pitches. This doesn't include kind of information around fixtures, cancellations, you know, that this is why I suggested kind of doing this section at home. And then when you go out to your pitches, you'll need to take with you a spade or soil sampler, a tape measure that measures in millimeters, and your camera phone. Okay. In most cases, you don't. Soil samplers are helpful in most cases, and we'll look at some images as examples. You don't. It's not essential, so don't feel like you need to go out and get a soil sampler before you can do it. And actually, I've seen it so many times where people have gone and bought one for £20 on Amazon, and it's just, you know, it's really not ideal, and they bend and break very quickly. The GMA and the FA and the foundation have got a relationship with a company that provides it, and we provide soil samplers, and we can provide them for a discounted price. So if you are interested, speak to Ben after, or mention it to me at the end, and we can kind of send you out some information around those. It is a discounted price, and if you are successful in receiving any funding, or you apply, you can kind of use the funding to purchase a decent soil sampler, which is going to last you. You know, I've been doing this day in, day out for 3.5 years and still got the one that I started with. So it is worth investing in a good one. So once you're happy that your pitches are all there, are marked, in most cases, you know, you'll fly through that section. It's a case of you just have to set your pitches up initially. Once they're done, they're done. So then you go to, it's a green tick that it changes to. So the amber whistle highlights sections that need to be completed. And then once they've got a tick, you can continue, and eventually it'll come up with an inspection. So there's 3 sections that you can complete at home: inspection ground questions, general ground maintenance, and this one as well, another general ground equipment. And then once you're out on the pitches, this is the bottom sections. If you've only got one pitch, then you just have one here. But in this instance, we've got 3 mapped out here, as you can see. So I'll dive straight into it. The first question is the big one: how much money have you got available? So in this one, I'm going to say we have £1,000 to maintain our pitches, and we spend £500 of that on a renovation at the end of year, and the split is therefore 50-50. You might want to indicate on here, if you pay anybody to maintain your pitch, how much money is going to a contractor. But realistically, this is an important question to ask. So I'm not suggesting that you feed your pitch 3 times a year if you've only got a budget of £600 to maintain it, because it's just not feasible. But be honest and be transparent about it. That way that we can provide the suitable recommendations to improve your pitches. So I've just put that down as an example. It could be anything. So grounds maintenance. Who looks after the grounds maintenance of your site? If you don't currently undertake any maintenance, please select no one. So this, hopefully you can see the drop down and the options, but I'll read them out. You've got contractor, local authority, a combination of both, no one, club staff or volunteers. So as this example, I'm going to say we use club staff to maintain our pitches, and we use a contractor to carry out our renovations. And on this site, we have got 2 volunteers. How many volunteers do you have that undertake maintenance work at the site? So this doesn't mean this specifically relates to pitch maintenance, that question. So you don't need to indicate how many volunteers your club has altogether, you know, the workforce. So next, what is the reason for this inspection? Interest in a new Football Foundation grant to improve our pitches. As well, if you need any support with these questions, there are contextual help boxes that appear if you click on a question mark. So click on next. And that's that section done. So inspection ground questions is complete. So we can move on to general ground maintenance. And as I say, these are the sections that you can complete at home and go through it. So for, as this example, this is just a demo account that I've used. So I have just added maintenance activities that we carry out at this ground. So we cut the pitches, we mow fortnightly, and we cut using a tractor mounted unit. And we line mark the pitches fortnightly, and we mark the lines when we need to. So again, this is this is really important that you complete this to the best of your knowledge every time you submit an inspection, just because it might change year on year, and it's important to provide that feedback to us. So what have we done this year? So we have done some overseeding. How often have we done it? I'm just going to say that we do it once a year, and say we seeded the goals this year. And then you add the information, save and close. Let's close it. And then click on next at the bottom. So please do let me know, or your regional pitch advisor know, please do complete this section and add a little description on you know, what you're using to cut the pitch. Ideally, would like to know the height of the cut, or you know, you can provide any information that you want, how often it's serviced. I'm just going to fly through this as an example to show you. So that's that section completed. Now we move on to the equipment, and again, please do indicate all the equipment that you or your contractor or whoever's maintaining the pitch uses, and state the condition, you know, and if you're looking to kind of come in for funding to purchase new equipment. So again, I've used this as an example account. So again, like I've indicated, we have a compact tractor, it's red. So ideally put the name, the manufacturer, the year, and the condition. So it's as new and it's in great condition. The mowing equipment that we use is very old, and it needs replacing soon. So therefore, within the report, I'm aware that you've got an old piece of equipment that isn't probably doing what it should be doing, or is temperamental, and you're spending a lot on repairs. So therefore, I can recommend one within the report, and it does open up funding opportunities for you to apply for a grant through the Football Foundation based on the recommendations within the report. So again, the more information, the better. So next. Okay, so that's those sections complete, and you'll get a continue button. So next up, we go into the pitches. So we can change and we can go to the junior pitch, or we can go to the new 9v9 pitch. I think for this, let's go for the new 9v9 pitch, because that's one that we've just added and I haven't worked on before. But it'll be exactly the same as this as you get. So it will ask you now, outside of what you do across the site, do you carry out any specific maintenance on this particular pitch? And in most cases, it's going to be no. It's just in case if you've got a first team pitch that you do carry out a little bit more work on, or a main pitch or something along those lines. It's just helpful to know that perhaps a particular pitch had an issue that needed you did an additional decompaction operation, or you have more wear on it, so you had another overseeding application done on it to kind of put some more grass seed down back into it. Yeah, so it in most cases it won't be anything, but it's just a case of that's there should you need to fill it in and indicate that you've been doing more work. So we're into a specific pitch now. That's the only one there that's been highlighted. We go to the general section, general guidance. In this section, you'll be asked to answer questions and upload photos that refer to the entire pitch on topics including its drainage, the usage, damage, renovation works. Following on from that, then you will be prompted to head out onto the pitch and undertake the actual inspection. So we'll try and fly through this as quickly as possible because I'm mindful of time. So drainage following rainfall. How well does your pitch drain naturally? And it's got the explanations there. 3 buttons. So I'm going to say this. We have this pitch is a poorly drained pitch. The pitch is still unplayable after 24 hours of heavy rainfall. So I can say that. Does your pitch have drainage installed? No, it doesn't. If it did, if you can select the drainage type, then it's beneficial for us to understand what's going on. We don't have any drainage, and we don't have any drainage to indicate the year. So click on next. Match hours. So how many match hours are played on this pitch per week? This is an average, so just give us a ballpark figure, essentially, just to ensure that it might be really obvious, but if you're overusing pitch, it's going to be difficult to get them improved. So in this instant, I'm going to say 4 hours, and we use them to train. We train on this pitch for 2 hours a week. Is there any recreational use of this pitch? That means if it's an open site and the general public are able to access it. In this case, I'm going to say no. And we had, for argument's sake, 3 cancellations, and they were all due to waterlogging since the previous inspection window. Again, really important to indicate if you have had cancelled games and if they were due to waterlogging, because it gives us some information around kind of primarily, what the drainage is like on your pitch. Click on next. Select damage areas. So this is a new feature from the previous type of from Pitch Power 1. If you are suffering from any types of damage, you have got the opportunity to indicate that, and you can click as many as you want, and then there's the opportunity to upload an image. I'm not going to do it in this case because we're going to say the pitch isn't suffering from any damaged areas, but by all means, please do indicate if you do have damage to your pitches and add a photo from any of these. Come next. So line markings, please take a photo representative of the line markings on your pitch. So we can upload a photo. We can upload the one that I took earlier of the lines marked, and it asks you to make judgments. So what standard are your line markings? Well, I would say these are above standard. The line markings are always clear and straight. The line markings are always visible, but not always straight. The line markings are not visible and have been applied using a non-standard marking material, e.g. herbicide. And we can touch on that. But yeah, you shouldn't be burning your lines into the pitches, and we can provide guidance on how to kind of get them back if that's something that you have been experiencing. Are your goalposts compliant? And there's some guidance around there, how to identify if they're compliant or uncompliant. And then it asks you to take a wide angle image. So anytime you've got a green button, it indicates to do something. So in this one, I can upload the image of a wide angle. This one's really helpful actually to kind of, for us to stand back and get a kind of a wider view on what the condition of your pitch is like. So in this case, I've added that one there. How even is your playing surface is the next question. I'm going to say it's standard. Surface is generally flat with some minimal undulations. And have you had any major work done in the past 5 years? So I'm going to say none. And is this pitch used in the step system? Say no. Okay, move on to next. If there is anything that you want to add about the pitch, you've got the opportunity to complete this section here. In the interest of time, I'm just going to. Okay, so we have now completed the general section on our new 9v9 pitch that we've just added. I don't know, I think, you know, we have flown through that, but that's taken all of 15 minutes to get to that stage. Now you go out and it's prompting you to go to the area goal mouth 1. So it doesn't matter which goal mouth you begin at, but just try to make it consistent throughout. And if you do, when you do complete an inspection on the pitch later down the line, just ensure that you try and start from the same one. There's a contextual help information here, which will provide guidance on some tips to carry out your inspection. Please do ensure that when you come across information like this, you do give it a read and understand what's being asked of you. And then we head on to taking pictures of the pitch, which is perhaps the most daunting section. So try and go through this as quick as possible, just to indicate. So if there is a question mark, you can click it and it will throw up how to measure grass height. In this case, it will prompt you to upload an image. You can do it by, when you click on upload an image there, it'll ask you to open up your camera if you are on the pitch. You can do it from home if you've been out to take the pictures already, the images already, but just ensure that you understand kind of the requirements around taking the images. So with this one, I don't have the tape measure in front of me, but we can zoom in. And well, I know because this is a pitch I've done before, it's about 35 millimeters on the grass height. The grass cover, so it'll ask you to upload 2 identical images and you'll get this presented. So how many squares contain grass? So what you can do here is use the pen to shade them in. You can do this on your computer, or you can do this on your phone using your finger. Or what you can do is just use the images, use the grid overlay, because there's 100 squares here. So in this one, we can kind of make an estimate, and don't worry if you don't get it absolutely spot on, because I'm able to override this my end. But in this case, I'd say that was probably about 65% of grass cover. The next one, it'll ask you for weed cover. So you upload the same image again, or take the same image again. And as you can see, this picture's got quite a reasonable amount of weed cover. So we're looking at kind of 25% weed cover. Don't worry about the bare areas, because that's just the bare areas are essentially 100 minus your indicated grass cover and the weed covers. So that's, you don't need to worry too much about that. How does surface debris impact the quality of the matches on your pitch? Well, there's no surface debris here so to speak of, so would say it's above standard, but you know your pitch and you'll be able to judge when you're out there taking the photos, and it'll prompt you on to next. And we go through to the soil sample. Okay, please upload a photo of your soil sample. Remember to use the tape measure or rule it in the photo. And if you need some guidance on this, click on the question mark. And also there's a YouTube video on how to take a soil sample. That'll, when you click that, it'll open another window, and then you can return to it once you're comfortable with doing it. So we can do this, and this is a good example of a soil sample here. Fortunately, it's not correctly. Yeah, so essentially this, and it's asking you here to measure the total growing medium, or yeah, the total amount of soil that you've got there, or the growing medium, the root depth as well. So we can see here we've got about 80 millimeters, and it'll ask you for the thatch depth as well. So those are the three questions that you're asked relating to this. So topsoil depth, just had it up, so we can say there's about 20 centimeters or 200 millimeters. Just remember these are in millimeters. It's asking for root depth here. We've seen on here, because we've helpfully got the tape measure there, 80 mil, and thatch depth, there's not much at all on the top, so we'd say 5. So say the same again. If you're not comfortable or you need a bit of explanation, there's YouTube videos on how to measure thatch depth, how to measure root depth, and also your topsoil depth. So each location on the pitch, there's 3 locations. So goal mouth 1, centre circle, and goal mouth 2. You'll be asked to submit the photos of the surface profile and the soil profile, because it's important to look at what's going on beneath the surface as well as above the surface. So that's that section complete, and then you would move on to the next one, which is it's just replicated of that. So you'll just walk from there to the center circle, go to the center circle and carry out this inspection. So we'll continue. I'm not going to run through it now because I'm mindful of time and there's a little bit more to get through, and I want to allow time in case anybody's got any questions to ask at the end. But essentially that's how you perform the pitch inspection across the pitches. And I will stop sharing my screen shortly, and just give you an indication. So let me go back to the inspection, which is, so once you've completed these, you'll have the 3 sections, the 2 sections at the top ticked, 3 sections at the bottom ticked, and you can click on continue, and it'll prompt you to submit the inspection then. So I'm going to stop sharing and we will open up the presentations. Sorry, the single presentation. I can see that the chat box is clear, but by all means, if you do have any questions, feel free to pop them in. Just get the PowerPoint.
Thanks for that, Daniel. It was great. Very informative.
Yeah, no worries. Just get this back up. So we've gone through the demo, and I touched on it earlier. Your pitch will receive rating of poor, basic, good, or advanced. Now, the idea behind using the app, funding that's available, and the support that's available is we want your pitches to be at good. This is the kind of criteria that happens in the background. So every time you take the photo, every time it asks about the line markings, the drainage, the surface debris, more so focused on these. So the images around the topsoil, the root depth of the thatch, the weed, the total grass cover, and your length of the grass as well. This calculates what your pitch is currently scoring. We've worked out over, working with our partners and consultants and others within the GMA, what a good pitch kind of, yes, looks like, but the criteria to back that up. And if you have got a good pitch, it's going to reduce your cancellations, and it's going to be an improved player experience. So that's kind of what this touches on, why we're asking you and how we're rating the pitches, just to be absolutely transparent on it, to take any subjectivity about what's a good pitch, what's a poor pitch, and what's a basic pitch. And our aim is to support you get into a good pitch. Yeah, so just that's what is happening in the background, essentially. Yeah, so the grounds management framework, this is something that we've introduced as well. So the GMA developed these pitch grading standards, and along with that, we have courses. They're short online courses initially, all the way up to kind of if your pitch achieves high or elite, or if you're working, you have aspirations to work at a higher level. We have courses that support that. So the grounds management framework is the system that measures the quality of your pitches and then kind of supports you with the skills required to achieve the optimum outputs and maintain them. So using a national established framework developed by ourselves. And this is not just football, so this is for every natural turf sport. We're looking to have pitches graded and have the people that are maintaining them supported with the skills and knowledge required to do so and to move them up the next steps. And we'll touch on the funding shortly, and then we'll kind of open up to questions. I hope I haven't rushed through the inspection, but there's quite a lot to get through, and I just wanted to make it open to yourselves to pop on and ask some questions, either relating to what we've been through, or anything that you want to talk about, currently happening on your pitch, or any issues that you might want to sound off to me. So yeah, so it all ties in together. So the standard of your pitch, the course, or the support that's available to you in terms of enhancing your own skills and knowledge to maintain the pitch. And when we talk about decompaction, where we talk about aeration, supporting yourselves to have an idea of what those terms mean and how it's beneficial to your pitch. So this is just an example of the courses that we offer. It's worth mentioning that if you do come in for the Grass Pitch Maintenance Fund, which there's been a lot of promotion about it. It's a fund available through the Football Foundation to support you maintaining your pitches. Then you will need to go on the GMA's online level 1 course, which is about a 4-hour workshop that you can kind of pick up and leave it as you kind of, you don't have to sit there for 4 hours and go through it, but it is a beneficial course. Ahead of that, you can work all the way up to online, the online level 1. So from level 1, you can move on to level 2, and then online level 3. And yeah, just some terms around what's associated with level 3 as you move up. Not saying you're all going to aspire to kind of do that, but it's just a case of offering you the information and what's involved in this. So what is meant by the term carrying capacity, the influence of drainage, soil type and compaction on carrying capacity, how they're related, soil nutrient testing and what this might mean for your pitch, grass cultivars and selection and evaluation, controlling undesirable organisms and integrated pest management, health and safety systems, planning a work program and managing a surface to optimize carrying capacity. So that's a snapshot of the level 3 course that's available. You know, but I do recommend kind of working your way up from 1 to 2 to 3. Won't dwell on this too much. We've spoke about what the pitch advisory service is and my role at the GMA as regional pitch advisor. Essentially, we're in phase 3 of the program now. Phase 1 ran from 2014 to 2017. This new phase has transitioned into multi-sport, so we collaborate with football, so county FAs, the ECB, rugby league and rugby union. Okay, so this is the kind of, I guess, why a lot of you might have been kind of signposted to this by Ben and Emma and Surrey FA, is that Football Foundation funding is available to support your pitches, and it's achievable. When I first joined the program, there wasn't funding for maintenance of pitches, it was for capital purchases. So if you wanted to have your pitches decompacted, there wasn't a fund able to support that. You would be able to go and buy a tractor and decompaction, a piece of equipment to run on the back of it, but the grass pitch maintenance fund has transformed the way clubs can access funding. So I'll just run through this very quickly. If you've got any questions about funding, I'll try my best to answer them. We don't have a representative from the Football Foundation here to talk about kind of key specific terms, but we will, myself and Ben will be able to try and answer them as best as possible. So the Football Foundation's grass pitch improvement strategy is a 10-year enhanced maintenance plan to improve your pitches. So this ties in with the use of pitch power as well, finding out where your pitches are currently, having them benchmarked, receiving guidance from myself on the measures you can be carrying out to improve them, and then reassessing as we go down the line. So the Grass Pitch Maintenance Fund is a 6-year grant providing up to £3,200 for every one of your 11-a-side pitches in the first 2 years, and then it scales down over the 6 years. So the initial 2 years, if you have got an eligible 11v11 pitch, you can receive up to £3,200 for the first 2 years of the grant. It drops then to 66% and then to 33%, and thereafter you're expected to sustain that pitch at the good condition. But I must stress that often pitches just need that level up first of all, and then actually we work with you to find out what's working, what's not working, how often are you using the pitch, and actually that line where you're sustaining the pitch at the good level becomes easier, and you're less, and also it's not as a big financial burden, but the foundation support that initially. So this grant could be used to employ contractors, purchase materials and purchase a soil sampler. So you, upon receiving your pitch power report, there's a button at the bottom that will invite you, if you're eligible, to apply for this funding. You will then receive the funding into your account or your club's account, and it's up to you how you spend it. If you need support in spending it, or you want signposting to contractors, we can support and help you through that as well. And all the information that you need based on maintenance requirements and recommendation, that's within the report as well. So do share that with your contractor and open up that discussion on what you want carried out. So the funding will depend on the performance quality standard rating received on your pitch, and as I say, it's up to £3,200. You are then free to produce your own maintenance schedule based on the recommendations in your pitch power assessment report to improve your pitch or sustain the pitch to the good PQS standard. So again, that's where we want you to be, at the good standard, but we're also not punishing you. Well, the foundation isn't punishing you if you're already at that good standard, and funding is available for good pitches to help you to maintain them at that standard. Grants are to improve grassroots community pitches, and as we spoke about before, that fund's changed now. It's not the Football Stadium Improvement Fund, it's the Premier League Stadia Improvement Fund. Is available to clubs playing at a higher step system within the football pyramid. So that's in a nutshell the Grass Pitch Maintenance Fund. Football Foundation small grants are still available if you want to purchase equipment, and this is key. A lot of clubs will come in for the Grass Pitch Maintenance Fund, and that's a great entry point. That gives you the money up front to be able to carry out maintenance works. But further down the line, please do think long term. The grant is there as a tapered grant to initially get your pitches improved. The money's there for you to carry out the work that you need to do to your pitches. But longer term, as that tapers off, we need to think sustainably and support your club in perhaps doing an enhanced level of maintenance yourselves, increasing your volunteer base. If you don't have equipment at the club, supporting with equipment, or if your equipment is old or unreliable, supporting a replacement of that. So this, please do think longer term with this. Grass Pitch Maintenance Fund is amazing, and you know the figures are there, and that money goes straight into your account. It's up to you how you want to spend it, but do think kind of 5 years down the line, where do you want to be as a club in sustaining these pitches as good, and can you carry out more enhanced works yourself? And funds are there to support that in terms of buying your own equipment or machinery. So the considerations, essentially, this is the kind of small print, if you want, or the kind of executive summary of some of the small print and what's required from you. So it's made available to support enhanced maintenance works recommended to raise or sustain pitch towards the GMA's standard of good. So any work that you're doing currently, you're expected to continue to carry that out as part of your regular maintenance. And routine grass cutting and line marking are excluded from operations which funding can be utilised, because essentially that's a given. You're expected to be able to have the means to fund that being carried out or carrying that out yourself. So there is a requirement to submit a minimum of 2 pitch power assessments annually if you are a recipient of the fund, and it is mandatory that one of those inspections is completed between November and March, so in the window that we're in now. So a good example of times to carry out assessments are September, October, so that in-season maintenance works can be recommended. Now is a good time as well because the weather's still on our side. So, you know, by all means, if you haven't done a pitch power inspection before, or you've been holding off until this webinar, yeah, no time like the present to get out and get your pitches inspected and get some advice on what you can be doing to maintain them in season. February, March is also a good time, so we can provide guidance on end of season works or spring works that can be recommended to enhance your pitch. again, we touched on it earlier. If the grant is awarded, 2 members of the organisation or club will need to enrol on and complete the GMA's online level 1 winter pitch course. This is because the stuff that we talk about in the report, we want you to be familiar with and have an understanding of it. And within that, there's the report. There's links to information pages that provide recommend. So that you have the recommendation, and there'll be links that you can click on, and it transfers through to pages that explain what we're talking about if you're not sure. The GMA's online level 1 pitch course kind of backs that up and allows you to build on your own knowledge. The club or organisation is responsible for organising and supervising any works that are carried out by your contractor. The recommended work should be performed on all pitches that funding was allocated to. Again, if and I've had it previously, and I think there might be a couple of people on the call that have actually had pitch power reports, and they've come back and said, you know, our contractors suggested we apply this fertilizer. Is this right to be doing? And you know, please, it doesn't. The support doesn't just end with the report popping into your email. We're here to help you, and any information, you know, same with tonight. Any information that you want, please just tap into myself and Ben, and you know, we can kind of provide further guidance. Site visits may be carried out to monitor your performance progress on the works that are carried out. Yeah, and we touched on the funding rate at the bottom, but it's an important thing to think of in year 5 and 6 when you're getting 33% of that initial fund. Hopefully by then we've got a sustainable plan of how you as a club or organisation are going to maintain those pitches that good. So that's that. Let's move on to the other support that's available. If you're not already on the Hive, and we'll send the links out to you, get on it. It's really an excellent resource. There's almost, I think it's increased since I produced this presentation. So I want to say there's about 3,000 users on there. It's essentially, think of it as a social media, an information social media platform. You can post questions, you can post photos, we run polls on it. Any information that's coming out from the Football Foundation on the GMA is posted on there as well. It's a really good platform that's been created for groundskeepers or clubs such as yourselves. Yeah, all of the regional pitch advisors are on there. There's maintenance cards, there's seasonal calendars providing advice on what we should be doing in November, December, you know, all of the months of the year, kind of giving you maintenance tips and tricks. Yeah, do get on that. It's really beneficial. Same, I'll send the link out after, or give it to Ben, and Ben can follow up with the YouTube link for this presentation. But it's worthwhile having it and flicking on every so often, because there's a huge amount of information on there, and it's really worthwhile checking that out. I recommend it enough. As well as that, we've got the GMA's toolkit. So you can log on to. Actually, you don't need to log on at all. You just follow a link. So this is slightly different to the Hive in that it's not interactive. It's a training resource, and it's just full of information. So if you want any guidance on, you know, any activities that you've been recommended to do check them out in here. It's worth mentioning as well that this is multi-sport, whereas the Hive is just it's related to the Football Foundation and football maintenance primarily, but this is multi-sport. It includes cricket, rugby league, and union. There's been a big piece of work on the health and safety and risk assessments to support clubs. So that's just been carried out, and you know, we're constantly developing these tools to support you, and there's information out there. So we've reached the end. An hour and 15 minutes allows us 10-15 minutes to go over any questions anybody might have. Thank you for your attention. There was so much to get through, but it's a case of I just wanted to kind of provide an overview and allow you to go from here and pick up you know, the stuff that we talked about, and hopefully you come away from this, you know, more familiar with the process, with the support that's available, with the tools that are available out there, and, you know, have a better understanding of how to use pitch power. I'm going to stop sharing the presentation currently, but if anybody wants me to go back over anything briefly, we can do that, or it can be picked up offline. By all means, unmute yourself if you want to come and ask a question directly, or use the chat. But,
Daniel, there's been a few questions in the chat. Just in terms, this one's probably a bit more specific to you. Matt's asked, are there any courses or planned basic machinery maintenance courses?
It's something that we can look at. We have previously ran safe use of machinery courses through the GMA. It's something that we can look at in terms of doing a workshop within Surrey next year. I've just seen David's question come through, but I'll answer this one. Yeah, so it's not something that we currently offer. If your equipment is new and you're struggling with it, then the best course of action would be to reach out to the person that supplied it to you and ask them. You know, they should do an install on all new equipment and make sure that you're comfortable and competent in using it. But it's something that we can pick up if there are trends in terms of people want to know specifics around how do we maintain that, or how do we make, you know, I don't know, you know, for example, changing height of cut on a specific piece of equipment. We can do that as part of an evening. Again, we're here to support you, so if that's something that would be of interest, then by all means. But no, we currently don't offer that course like that as the GMA, but I will feed it back because it's a really good suggestion.
Albert says, do we have to apply for funding in the same window as we do pitch inspection? In terms of applying for funding, we'd urge you to get the funding applied for as soon as you can. For whatever reason, if you somehow don't manage to do it, usually pitch inspections, Daniel, correct me if I'm wrong, but within a year.
Yeah. So
within a year, yeah.
Yeah. So if you have already had a pitch power inspection carried out and you've got your report and it's within a year, then you can still apply for funding and use that inspection. If you don't have one, then now's a good time to do it. But be mindful that we are soon entering a really difficult period, i.e. winter, where you're going to be really limited on the stuff that you can do on your pitch, and you're much better off waiting until spring if you're thinking about having, you know, overseeding. So a couple of things, you know, related to maintenance of grass pitches to emphasize now. If you are struggling with ground cover on your pitches now, get out and get some seed onto them, because we've still got good temperatures. We've still got rainfall around. The weather hasn't turned. You can do spot overseeding by hand to sustain your gall mouths, and you still get seed germinate now. If your gall mouths, are particularly the high wear areas, if they're starting to show wear now, get some seed into the ground because it will germinate and come through. If you leave it too late, you're really going to struggle to get seed. As well as that, if you do have budget available and your pitches are holding water, if you can still get on them with machinery, carry out a decompaction or an aeration operation to keep your soil structure good, and it'll help you through the winter with drainage. So Yeah, overseeding now, it's still a reasonably good time to do it. I wouldn't recommend engaging with a contractor and getting the whole pitch done now. But by all means, carrying out isolated repairs, getting some holes into goal mouths with a garden fork, backfilling those areas with sand, and if possible, covering with germination sheeting you'll retain more water and warmth and kind of bring the seed on quicker. Yeah, but really, if we're talking about going out and doing a pitch inspection on the weekend and then waiting for a report and then applying for funding, your next opportunity really to carry out decent level of work is you're probably looking to the spring now. But you can still carry out and you can do an awful lot by hand to improve your pitch. It just takes time and effort, and yeah, but I would encourage you to go out and make those hand repairs little and often.
Daniel. Another question, someone said, how much funding can you get for machinery? Machinery grants are under £25,000, up to £25,000.
Yeah.
So anything over that would fall into the larger grants, which is also something you can apply for.
Yeah.
And then David's obviously said, will the slides be available?
Yeah. I will convert the slides to a PDF so it's manageable, and then I'll put all of the links into Pitch Power. I'll put the links into the Hive, groundskeeping community, and the toolbox as well. And I'll also include, or Ben can include, my contact details, just so you have them and you can follow up. And if you want to drop me a line, then get in contact with any specifics. That's fine. And as I say, Pitch Power is the entry point to any funding that you get, but the support network is far wider than that. And it sits with, Ben as a representative, or Emma as a representative of your county FA, but also myself as the GMA as well. Please feel free to reach out and don't feel like you're pigeonholed into completing this inspection.
Just on that as well, in terms of the slides being made available, this whole recording's been recorded, so I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'll circulate the link out because I know there's a few people that have struggled to log on, so they'll have access to it as well. So you can watch 20 minutes clips or bits that you want to delve into a little bit deeper. It'll be made available for you guys. Gary's off. Hi, Dan. You have 5 minutes after the meeting, please, to discuss a few points following with your meeting with Daniel on Thursday. Thanks.
Yeah, that's fine. Gary, have you got my mobile number? If not, I'll email you. I
guess we can kind of
we'll
take that. I guess we can kind of begin to wrap up. Just in terms of what's going to be next, obviously get your pitch power assessments done, draw that grass pitch maintenance funding. We want to give out as much as possible, improve those pitches, get them grass pitches to a good level, as Daniel explained earlier. And then, in terms of other meetings that we've got coming up, webinars, on the 18th of January, we've got a cross-county grants webinar specifically to do with grants, smaller grants, larger grants, revenue generating grants. So keep an eye out for that. I just want to say thank you for Daniel for his time this evening. Found it very informative myself. I'm sure you guys have as well. And I want to thank you guys as well for turning up. I know, as I mentioned at the start, evenings are very precious. And I appreciate you taking your time out to come and learn a little bit more about how you can get your grass pitch up to scratch. Any questions, anything else that you need, obviously my email address, I imagine you've got it, as I've been pinging you all down with emails for the last 2 weeks or however long I've been marketing this for. Feel free to get in touch with me about anything, and I'm more than happy to help. I'm sure Daniel is as well.
Yeah, just extend my thanks as well, because not only of you being here, but the impact that it has on the clubs, and you're here for a reason. It's to make your pitches better, and that support and that improvement isn't just felt by yourselves and the kind of the good things that you do. It's felt within your clubs, within your communities, within the you think the clubs that come and visit and play on your pitches. This is this is the start of your journeys, hopefully, in improving the pitches, and anything that we can do to support that, get in touch. And equally, if you've got any suggestions of sessions that would be useful to you in the future, reply to Ben, hit him an email over, and we can look to put those sessions on. But essentially, we touched on it before, the resource that's available in terms of Pitch Power, the funding, like we're your resource as well. So use us to the best of your ability to support what you want to do in your club's ambitions. So Ben, thanks a lot for the invite to come on to speak, and
no problem. Thank you
to be here, and thanks all.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much. I'm going to be circulating a questionnaire sometime tomorrow, so any feedback will be appreciated. Have a good evening. Cheers, Daniel.